So there's some dips appearing. We're going to talk about 5 altcoins that you can potentially buy that look pretty good. They've broken out from high level, high time frame, resistance, that is now starting to become support on some of these assets at least. Now, disclaimer, not financial advice. You do you. I'm not your mum. I'm not going to wipe your ass. You get the idea, right? Fundamentals. Bitcoin has corrected from a nice, obvious level. Talked about it on my Twitter not too long ago. We are doing a standard correction at the moment. It might be a slow one. If we're talking in the past, we've had a few slow, sluggish, boring corrections. This has all the hallmarks of another slow one. Sorry, but it is. However, good point to make note of is that the dominance is not going up. Basically, that means that altcoins are not dying with it, which is good. Altcoins are actually holding its station a little bit better than what normally happens. So, as I say, we are currently correcting. If we're going to do the industry standard of a 20% correction, we're not that far away. We're looking about $38,000, $39,000. Could go much lower than that, though. We could be doing a deeper correction because this is a bigger move. So I would state maybe a bit lower, maybe 25, 30%-ish. Not financial advice. Just saying. First one, Cardano. Beautiful chart. Now, there's some exit strategy if you want to have a little look at some levels of interest where you could probably take some profit. But what I am interested in is you guys looking at that level. We're currently on it, near it, close to it. Get my words out. On the weekly time frame, this is a beautiful level. That looks like a good dipping opportunity. Now, why are these so important? Because in bull cycles, there's always a pullback. Yeah. However, when you break key level structure that we've not been above since essentially start of September 2022, becomes a clear and obvious level of demand. Volume blocks, whatever you want to know as. There's so many words for different things that just support and resistance these days. It really gets on my tits. But that looks like a nice place to buy. When you start looking at confluence of, say, the Fibonacci, and you start seeing it at a 50% correction, or 0.5 on here, you know the math doesn't quite add up, but you get the idea. Could be a good place. And when you start thinking buy low, sell high, and you may well look at some TP levels up here, it looks quite nice. So Cardano definitely fits the bill. Another good one is also Avax. Again, look at this level here, right? We absolutely splattered this zone. It went boom. Cool. I know. But you get the idea, right? Went right up into a level of, interest, huge level of demand here. Well, supply essentially. And we've had a sell-off, right? But again, we're looking at this weekly time frame. Absolutely flew through it. This whole level, this whole region could be a nice buy the dip zone, right? It's kind of obvious to say, but yeah, it's going to correct. And for me, I would probably draw a little zone around this area and think like that in terms of that is a potential area where it could fall down to. Also, look at the EMA 21 right in that confluence zone. So again, talking about a new leg up into this region, back up, right? So again, we're at huge levels, but also you got to think now, levels from 2021. Currently here, right? So maybe it might not go as low as you think, but it is a quite nice little level, nice little round number as well around here as well, just below that $30 level. Could be huge psychology wise as well. So again, Avax is kind of an obvious one, an obvious pick, but it's getting a lot of hype right now. There's some decent stuff happening on Avax. Another clear and obvious one, kind of, is Polkadot. Not so much for the price, but more for the developments that are coming over the course of this year. However, this one's more interesting, right? We've had a nice little run up, pulled back into a level. Look at how this level is just perfection. If you put that level right the way across, that is what it is. From pretty much the launch, support, resistance, haha, hello. So it becomes an obvious key level. However, I do think it could go a little bit lower because you have got other levels just below it as well. Around that 570 $6 level, right? Again, draw a little zone box. You may well find it of some obvious interest. Now, when we talk about this again, we talk about, pullbacks, higher time frames, look at the entire structure. Doesn't look too bad, right? As I say, this level could also be tapped. So if you want to kind of look at it with a bit more of a zone, it wouldn't shock me if you just did this and went, you know what? That doesn't look like a bad place to be. So again, when we talk about buying the dips and things that you can look at and interesting areas of interest and trying to get more bang for your buck, that looks pretty good. And it is a clear breakout. It's just coming back and retesting it. The second to last is something that hasn't quite done much. I've mentioned it a few times on my channel, and I do like it. I like a lot of things about it. And I know there's some upcoming developments coming for Algorand. But I wanted to stray away a little bit from the deviation of technicals and more consider the fundamentals. There has been a little bit of a break of structure, but nothing that's really going to get you turned on. This has absolutely died. But again, when we talk about mechanics here, yes, there's some systems coming online soon. It's going to become a faster chain. There is an element here where we have broken structure, but it's not as strong as others, right? So be mindful of that. However, when you look at this, has looked quite nice in terms of on this level. So we'll see where it goes next. But there's a massive amount of risk to reward, in my opinion, on Algorand, right? When we do a little fib there, I'll zoom in so you can see it. It's looking all right, right? Could teleport this. Just saying. But for the first time, in a very, very long time, it's above the moving average or the EMA 21 on the weekly time frame. As I say, it's broken structure, but nothing amazing. But it can't keep going low forever, right? It just can't. So we'll see what happens here. If this does create a higher low and goes higher, it will be a change of character, and then people might start looking at it more. Price action is a great form of marketing. Write that down. And finally, Rose. Very, very clear and obvious, and it's already here. This is a level that I pinpointed a few weeks ago in terms of, okay, cool, we'll see what happens here or here. Just to give you a kind of a live example, still relatively high in the RSI, but we'll see where it goes. This is a huge level. May not hold though, because it's not very, there's not much sponge there. There's not much in terms of past data. However, here around this EMA or this sort of region where there's been multiple rejections might be very, very interesting. But again, when we talk about corrections, look at where these lines line up to. Kind of important to note, right? The Fibonacci and stuff like that. Both of them confluences with the past. Huge. Could be a massive price opportunity there, potentially. Other things we need to note though, just before I go. If you're new, subscribe. If you like this sort of content, please do subscribe. I think about 80% of people that watch my channel are not subscribers. I know, press the button, man. Anyways, we need to talk about fear and greed. Why is this important, Ash? Because as the price is stalling, as the price is getting sluggish, we are slowly going down into neutral zone. This is also the same for the RSI on, say, Bitcoin. You can see very, very clearly it's starting to slowly come down. If we go to the daily time frame, we're actually near bearish zones, right? What? Yes, we are going sideways-ish, kind of in a roundabout way, and the RSI is getting lower and lower. That doesn't mean we're just going to take off like a rocket. It just means that price is starting to move in a way where people are getting bored and there's not many trading opportunities, and it's going to go low in terms of volatility. And then all of a sudden something's going to happen and it's going to catch people off guard. Hence why I've just said where there could be potential demand zones on every single one of these altcoins. That's huge, right? What happens when you hit levels of demand, you may ask? Well, you basically see buyers, and buyers make price go higher. Anyways, if you're new, as I say, like, subscribe. If you want more of my content, check out Patreon. I'll be uploading more short content on my YouTube, and that's about it. Have a good weekend.